really the answer comes down to closing whole parts of lines or whole lines in order to get the work done that's needed in a timely fashion.
All right, that was Jack Evans, who is a member of the council and also a member of the Metro Board, talking about something that caught a lot of people by surprise yesterday during a session of Metro government officials who all interact with the Metro system. It was revealed that they have a plan to perhaps shut down parts of Metro for as long as 6 months, so they can do the repair work that they say needs to be done. Joining us on the line right now is Robert McCartney, the reporter who covered this event for the Washington Post. Robert, I think this caught a lot of people off guard, and I think they're actually surprised down at Metro by the reaction to this story as well.
Well, I think Jack Evans, the Metro Board chairman, sort of was trying to emphasize how deep the troubles are and how seriously we need to take the need to fix Metro, and he especially was trying to emphasize the need to get more funding for Metro, but he sort of let the cat out of the bag by saying that they were thinking of possibly shutting down entire rail lines for as long as 6 months if that were necessary to do the repairs. Now, Paul Wiedefeld, the general manager who actually would make the decision, was sitting right next to Evans when Evans said it, and he confirmed afterwards that he was thinking about that. He wanted to keep all his options open. He said that it needs a lot of work. The system needs a lot of work, and so he will decide. He'll let us know in 4 to 6 weeks whether entire lines would be shut down or partial segments of lines would be shut down, and for how long.
Robert, is any of this political as Metro advocates advocate for additional funding?
Well, I think there's probably an element of that, but no, I don't think so. I think, seriously, what's really going on here, as far as the shutdown is concerned, is that this guy, Paul Wiedefeld, has come in November. He came in with everybody saying, look, we know we got problems. We have to address them. We have to be serious about them. And he's taking the board and sort of the region at its word that he's expected to make tough decisions. And so he made a really tough one when he shut down the entire system for a full day 2 weeks ago for emergency safety inspections. And he's basically digging in and finding out how bad the system is. And I think what, part of what's happening here is they know that there's a lot of repair work and overdue maintenance that needs to be done. And they've been doing it on weekends and at night. But that's extremely inefficient. You spend a lot of your time, like maybe half the time, I'm not sure about that, but a lot of the time, setting up and taking down. And you can do it much more efficiently and much more effectively if you just shut down the line entirely and inconvenience people a lot for a certain period of time, but then you can get it done faster and cheaper if you do it that way. And the union says that, and some board members say that, and I think that's one reason Wiedefeld is taking this so seriously.
Okay, so we're told that it's likely not going to be the red line, because the red line they feel is like in pretty good shape. They've done a lot of work on it.
That's what Evans said.
That's what he said. So we're now talking what, the blue, the orange?
Well, Evans specifically mentioned the blue line twice, at least twice, and I asked him, now, are you mentioning the blue line because that's the most likely one to get shut down? And he said, oh, no, he was just mentioning it as a possibility. He said it could be the blue, it could be the orange. He didn't say. He did say that the red line was least likely, just as you say, because there's been a lot of work done on that already. But I think that, personally, my impression was that shutting down an entire line for 6 months was sort of the maximum, and the minimum would be, sections of lines, for several months, but certainly the possibility. I mean, we gave Wiedefeld the opportunity to say, no, this is alarmist, and he said, no, I am keeping my options open, and he said that they've been doing it in piecemeal ways, and that hasn't worked.
All right.
They need to do it in some more drastic action.
All right, so they're saying maybe they need about $1 billion. Now, there were a lot of important people in the room who would have a say about whether or not they're going to come up with that dough. How did that go over when they said we need maybe another $1 billion of investment?
No, they said they need another $1 billion a year.
Yeah.
Evans said $1 billion a year from the local jurisdictions for capital investments on top of what they're already getting, and in addition, another $300 million a year for operations from the federal government. That's what Evans said. That got remarkably little discussion.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought that sort of went over like a lead balloon. There was almost no discussion about funding. Reporters had to go and ask people afterwards, what they thought about that. The one guy who really talked about that explicitly was the Maryland Transportation Secretary, Pete Ron. And he said, from a Republican administration, which is very skeptical of transit, right? Pete Ron from Maryland said, look, the Metro's in such bad shape, it needs to get its house in order. It needs to fix the problems it has before we even talk about giving it any additional money.
How did it get this bad?
Well, that's a very long and complicated question, which actually I'm working on a story about right now that'll come out at some point. But I think that the politicians have several things. The politicians have not wanted to bite the bullet on funding, and also, and equally important, the politicians and the board members going back over several generations have not been willing to hold Metro management and the Metro workers, frankly, accountable for what was going on. They did not force the agency to change, to fully embrace a safety culture,
right,
to fully embrace reliability, to fully embrace, decent financial management. I mean, there's just been not enough accountability.
Yep, I think you're right. Well, listen, we're going to have to leave it right there. I want to say thank you to Robert McCartney, who we got him to join us on very short notice, and greatly appreciated and good reporting there in the Washington Post today.
Thank you.